So I wanted to talk, usually we do like a recent news segment, but this week we're doing a segment that we just named like 10 minutes ago called How Sarra Sees It after the 4 episodes that we watched last week of Glee. Yes, thank you. How Sarra Sees It. Yeah, so I wanted to talk a bit about like coming out and queer representation. I know this is like something that is talked about really often in the community, but especially like with people of color, like, I don't know. I just want to reiterate that like sometimes that's hard. Like, I don't know. I had an experience with a friend like yesterday, so it's been on my mind. Where someone came out and it wasn't exactly like safe for them to do so, and that's like super unfortunate, and it's like an unfortunate truth in our community, and I feel like people have kind of like, people don't talk about it enough, especially with people of color. And we're gonna have an episode sometime soon where we have like a bunch of like my friends of color on, and we like talk about like being gay and being a person of color, because like that intersectionality is important. And yeah, I don't know. And I was just thinking about like queer representation, not in like TV, which is, I know we work in TV and radio, but we don't work.
We literally have careers in the field.
And like this show is kind of like our way, not as much Tai, but Tai's here today. But like expressing like our queerness, and that's like super important to me. And when people ask me about like why I do this show, I feel like sometimes people overlook how important this is to me, because like I didn't grow up with representation. I didn't grow up with people who looked like me doing something like this. I genuinely didn't think it was possible to like for me to be doing something like this. Like, I was thinking about this a few days ago, but if like 11-year-old me saw like what I was doing today and like how happy I am and like how much I've overcome and like coming out and all that stuff, because my coming out was hard. It wasn't good. Like, I don't talk about it like super frequently how bad it was, but like there was a time where I was like not it, like I was going through stuff, and people do, and like I don't know. It's been on my mind. I don't know what your guys' opinions are on this, but how do you feel about like coming out and like queer representation? Because I know in our field like it's important, but also in like daily life.
I think that intersectionality across all different walks of life is really important in all types of media, just because growing up it allows you to feel seen and supported, even if maybe you grew up in an environment where you weren't, or it's sort of perpetuated through your daily routines that, you know, you're not the same as other people, or you can't do things the way that they do. So seeing yourself represented is super important. Mm-hmm. And just the example I used was Artie from Glee, because a lot of people did critique that character, and I'm not going to say that they shouldn't have, and, you know, that is a conversation that, you know, going forward should be fixed, but he was also like the first real character that I was able to kind of see myself represented in, and be able to be like, yeah, I can like dance around and sing. And it was never something that I questioned, and that made me feel okay with it. It was just something that I was able to watch and see myself through as a kid. So, yeah.
Okay, so Tai.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
You want to talk to us a little bit about your favorite queer media?
Sure, yeah. I love Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, Canada's Drag Race, like all of the franchises. And I don't know, I started watching that show when I was, I think like maybe like 15 or 14, and it was just something that I found on Netflix, and I remember watching, and I was literally so shocked at the transformation that they were able to create. Like, I think it was season 8 that I first watched, or it might have been season 9.
Question. Is season 8 the one with
Bob
and Kimchi?
Naomi and Kimchi? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
It was Naomi specifically. I saw her, and I was like, that's not real. This is fake. What? And then I realized that they were like the same person, and I was so shocked, and I just thought it was so cool. And the artistry and the way that they're able to transform their bodies, create different looks is just so inspiring and so cool to me. And then as I got older, I got like probably hyperfixated on it, and that's just kind of stuck with me. So me and my best friend Robert, we always watch Drag Race, and we talk about Drag Race basically all the time. And it's honestly just fun because I love reality TV in general, and
course.
it's like like an insane like reality TV show
Yeah.
where there's just so much drama and random stuff. And obviously, you know, there is a line when it comes to drama, like that's not good. But when it's just kind of chaotic and fun and it's for good TV, you know, that's when I like it, and that's when it's pretty good. Yeah.
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 Yeah. You have like experimented with drag yourself, right? A little bit.
A little bit. I've done a couple of, like, I guess makeup would be the main area that I've practiced in. Like, I'm definitely no expert, and I'm definitely trying to learn, but I've done a little bit of drag. I started with a bit of wig styling, so like working with that, and then the fashion aspect. I bought like a dress recently, which was insane. I've never
Fun.
done that before.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like, I felt really weird about that, but it was kind of cool. It was like a good experience, and felt sort of validating just because, like, you know, to me, gender is very fluid. It's not a binary thing.
Yeah.
And like exploring different parts of myself is something that I don't think I was always able to do as a kid. And whether that's for like I mean, my parents have always been super supportive of me, but just like dealing with, even because I did a lot of speaking engagements and a lot of like event stuff, that I was always expected to be like on my best behavior, act like this, do that. So that kind of stunted my ability to really mess up and really experiment with a bunch of different things. So I think as I'm getting older, I'm trying to do that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all have like different relationships with gender. I think us, particularly in this room, is like a bit of a like non-conforming non-conforming group here. I don't know. Gender is like a really interesting relationship to me as like a non-binary person. I don't know if I like really want to get into it, but like I dress pretty like masculine. And Delphine, you also dress pretty masculine. You get misgendered like so frequently.
Everyone thinks I'm non-binary, but I'm not.
Yeah.
This is just how I look. I'm sorry.
This is just who I am.
It's just who I am.
Yeah.
No, but there's like a weird, it's a really weird experience when you start shopping in like the section for like the opposite gender. Like I remember being like so stressed about it when I was a kid, like going into like, not a kid, but like, I don't know, 14, 15, like going into the H&M men's section. Like I thought they were going to take me back and like shoot me. Like I thought I was going to die.
Oh my God.
But like, I don't know, like when you're like in Toronto, like, I don't know, like nothing really bad happens. Like you build it up in your head, but then like honestly, like they don't really care like where you shop from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's because I'm not from here. I'm from Ottawa. But like I also like I grew up in a really like progressive, like, and by grow up I mean like come of age kind of like high school. I went to like a really queer high school in my like district. I went to like one of the queer high schools in our district. Like our principal's literally gay. Like
Yes, gay principal.
Yeah, so like there was like more freedom with that kind of like expression, but it's still like, I don't know, like internalized homophobia is like a thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets you every once in a while.
You can have like literally the most supportive parents, the most supportive community, like never experience any homophobia in your life, and like it'll still get in you.
It's weird though, because I know people who haven't experienced internalized homophobia like at all, and I think that's insane.
How do you get off scot-free like that?
I thought it was like literally disrespectful.
It's
Like,
literally disrespectful.
I was like, how are you doing that right now? Because my ex-girlfriend, I remember we were like I think we were like holding hands on the street, like we were like not doing much, and then I was like, she was like, oh, do you not like want to hold my hand? And I was like, do you not like feel weird about being gay? Like, are you not like ashamed of this right now? Like,
Do you not feel
are you
weird
not
about
ashamed
being
of this? No.
Oh my God.
I was like, what's going on? And she was like, well, what are you talking about? And I was like, you don't experience internalized homophobia? She was like, what is that?
No. Some gay people are really new.
I know. No, but
So
here's the thing.
new.
She came out before COVID.
What the hell?
So that's what I'm saying. Because, like, COVID is, like, understandable. But I was like,
So what's the answer? She's not even new.
she's not even new. She just doesn't experience it.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know, like,
You
damn,
have
like,
no words.
That's strange. How strange.
How strange. Okay,
I mean,
well,
I guess that's like a lucky thing because I don't know, it happens a lot for people to just feel really uncomfortable with themselves. Like I feel like as a kid, I was even more comfortable with like queerness and all of that, and then as I got older, things got more
Complicated.
Yeah.
more tricky
Yeah,
and
that
more weird,
happens.
just because like the way people treat you and the way people act is really difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I know Steven had a similar situation who we had on a few episodes ago, where he like was really expressive as a kid, and then
You
like,
kind of kill
kind
it a bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's round out this show by talking a little bit about Drag Race, because I watched it for the first time I watched I think half of season 8
Okay.
when I was in like grade 9.
Interesting.
When I was in grade 9,
Interesting choice.
my friend was like, "I'm obsessed," and she's like, "You have to watch it." I was like, "Okay, I will." And
Girl, I'm so obsessed. They slayed.
she's bisexual. She was a little bit better than that.
Okay.
Don't worry. But yeah, so I watched it then, and I like didn't finish it, but I love reality TV. So I knew I would probably like go back to it eventually, and like because like everyone in the community talks about it, and like people who aren't in the community, like straight girls love Drag Race. I knew I was probably gonna listen to it again eventually, or watch it again eventually. Listen. I actually turned I put the.
You
like,
always just fell asleep.
Wow.
I just fell asleep. Yeah.
Wow, Sarah, way to support queer artists.
Sorry,
Yeah.
not supporting queer art right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it yesterday. I watched the first 2 episodes of Canada's Drag season 2, and then I watched the first episode of RuPaul's Drag.
Race?
Oh,
Okay.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Season 12.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are
Delph-
good picks.
Thank you. Delphine sent me pics to watch, and then I panicked because I didn't have access to them, and it was 12 at midnight last night, and I was like, I don't know what to do. But I really enjoyed it. I'm like, I don't know if you guys feel this. Like, do you guys watch a lot of reality TV?
No.
No?
The only reality TV shows I will ever watch in my life are Drag Race and The Voice.
Okay. Fair. But I have this thing where I like usually like shows that are Canadian over their like American counterparts.
Whoa.
I don't know what it is. It's like this weird patriotism I have. Like, I don't know what it is.
Fine, it's in all of us.
But like Amazing Race Canada versus Amazing Race, I will die on the hill that Amazing Race Canada is better than Amazing Race. And I like Big Brother Canada more than I like Big Brother US. And I will also like die on that hill, but like less so because I think Amazing Race Canada is specifically a lot better than Amazing Race.
I respect that hill.
It's because they cast better on Amazing Race Canada. They have better casting on Amazing Race Canada than they do Amazing Race. Sorry, any Amazing Race US fans. But I was curious about like Drag Race like Canada versus like US. But like I watched Canada first, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fun. I love this. And then I watched US, and I was like, this is a completely different caliber of talent.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. See, the thing that's interesting is Drag Race has been going on for like, well, they're on the 15th season. So in the States, it's really become this like titan of a show. And I think Canada's Drag Race, you know, in the beginning, like season 1, season 2 of US was like, not that good. But like Canada sort of brought back a charm of like the messy reality TV show sort of chaos that sort of was kind of leaving the show as it expanded.
Yeah.
So it brought something fresh, but when you do look at them in comparison, it's like, it's very different.
Like, it was
But
so funny.
I
like,
love my Canadian queens. They're so good.
I remember like the first episode I watched of like the American version, literally Nicki Minaj was judging. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah,
I was like-
that was crazy.
And they did like
Yeah.
this, like they like all like did like these original like raps about themselves, and I was like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah. Did you like the raps?
I thought they were like fun. I was like, this is so fun.
It was so fun.
And like the performance of it, like I never really took into account like the performance of drag and like the different styles of like queens. Like they'd be like, oh, like they're fashion queens who like specifically are like really into like the outfits that they're wearing and the makeup and stuff. And then there are people who are like comedy queens. And then there are people who are like specifically really good at dancing and like lip syncing. And there's so many different aspects. And as someone who really likes comedy and like stand-up comedy in general, when I saw like in the US version, I saw like the comedic performances. Like I watched the first episode, and in like the lip sync battle at the end, like one
Gigi and
Yes.
Widow? Yeah.
okay, Gigi had like this whole
She
comedic
was so
take on
funny.
it, and I was like, that was so funny. Like obviously, like Widow went full out because Nicki Minaj was right there,
Yeah.
and they were lip syncing to Starships by Nicki Minaj, which is like the most iconic song ever. But like Widow deserved that win, but like Gigi, I was like, this is funny.
Yeah.
I was
for
like
sure.
looking at her, I was like, that's funny.
For sure. The cool thing is with Drag Race, you get to see so many different types of performers all sort of just celebrating their art and
Yeah.
coming up against each other. Like, it's not really a good judgment of like who is actually the best and who is truly the best queen, because everybody brings something so different. And you know, looking at it through the mindset of it's a comedy, like it's nearly a satire as a show.
Yeah.
And if you can look at it with that perspective, you can enjoy it so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delphine, what are your opinions?
You just blew my mind with your satire thing. That's so
Yeah.
true, because it was originally like a spoof of
America's
Project
Next Top
Runway.
Model.
Nope, I was straight up wrong.
It's like a parody of America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
And it sort of came because it was like, oh, these drag queens are so funny doing the same things that they did on America's Next Top Model. And you watch it that way and you're like, whoa, this is wild. And then it's, yeah. Which is why there was a phase where people stopped being really like dramatic, because the fan base is so toxic, and you know that's a whole episode in itself. But nevertheless, as the seasons progressed, we were able to get more drama coming back into the current season.
Yeah.
And the queens are like ready to kind of snap back at drama and stuff. And yeah.
It was really cool. It was a really fun experience. Any final thoughts on it, Delphine?
If you're gonna watch one season of it, watch All Stars 2. The like Shakespearean drama. I lose my mind every time. There's literally like themes. I could like analyze it. I could write essays about it. It's like one of my favorite seasons of television of all time. It's so crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that was one of the ones you wanted me to watch, and I was like, I can't find it, and it's 2 a.m. I was like crying. I was like, this is not good right now. But yeah, I'm definitely going to continue watching Drag Race, because I think like coming into it now with this experience, I enjoyed it so much more than when I watched it when I was in like 9th grade. And yeah, thank you for getting me into this. I actually really enjoyed my time watching it.
I'm so excited for you to be watching Drag Race.
Welcome.
That makes me so happy.
Maybe it's Tea of the Week in coming episodes.
You should watch
Yeah.
the new season so we can talk about it.
We should. When does it come out?
It is
Is
happening.
it actively coming out?
You have to catch up.
Team
Oh.
Sasha Colby.
Oh no.
You have to catch up.
Okay. I have
I'm a
lot
couple
of reality
episodes
TV.
behind,
Okay.
so you're good.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, and with that, it's the end of the hour. Thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. Ty had to come around and share a mic with me, but good person to share a mic with.
No, you.
Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Once again, Next in Queue is hosted by Sarra Gillani and Delphine Winton, with music by Jordan Amaral. For more, you can follow us on Instagram at Listen to Next in Queue. That's the word listen, the number 2, and the words Next in Queue.